But as you know, if you're a regular viewer, we begin with a stock of the day. So usually this is something that's been in the news either on the day or recently. Today we picked Paladin Energy. PDN is the ticker code. So we're watching those shares really surging after it produced its first uranium concentrate from its Langer Heinrich mine in Namibia. Paladin says its focus will now shift to production ramp up and building a finished product inventory ahead of shipments to customers. So this, my friends, has been a long time in coming. And shares are up about 5% at this time. Of course, we'll continue to watch the evolution of those shares throughout the day today. But I will start with you for this one, Scott Phillips from the Motley Fool, because you know, you would know as well as I do that we've got a lot of enthusiasm still around these uranium stocks listed locally, of which we didn't have any producers, I suppose, until today.
That's right. It is a red letter day, or maybe a yellow letter day if we're going to talk about yellow cake. Yes, look, it's a good day for Paladin shareholders, good day for the company. It has a decade of losses back to back to back to back. While it tried to get to this point, as you say, you know, going from explorer, from hopeful for, you know, to producer. Now, first amount of production is a very, very long way from a commercial quantity at a commercial price at a commercial cost base. But you've got to get to this point first. This is the only way you get there is to go through this stage of finally producing something. And uranium's been a fascinating one because honestly, you know, when you look at commodities, there's so much geopolitics going on, whether it's iron ore in China, whether it's oil and OPEC. With uranium more broadly is just the whole, you know, energy complex, the move towards or away from fossil fuels to some sort of carbon zero, carbon neutral, not exactly renewable uranium, but that kind of idea of what do we power our grids with? And so you've got to kind of break apart the I guess, what do I call it? Ideology, maybe is a better way to put it, from some, the commercial reality for others. The simple thing of, you know, are we even going to ever do it? Even if uranium was the best energy source, will governments continue to use it in large numbers? Some countries building new plants, others shutting them down, some backtracking on those plans. So you kind of need this really bizarre version of a crystal ball. Again, a bit like OPEC, you've got the broad supply and demand, and then you've got the regulatory or the government or the you know, the non-economic forces at play. I got to say, I'm not. Look, great for Paladin shareholders. Really pleased for them. 5% jump today, share price wise. Really, really good. You got to be happy with that. The question really then still comes down to, in let's say 10 years' time, for the fun of it, how much are they producing? Who else is producing? How much is required? By whom? Where? In what quantities? At what prices? There's so much uncertainty here, mate. So still too rich for my blood. It's still very. Speculative is probably the wrong word, but price-wise, you have to speculate on what the commodity and therefore share price might be in the future. I'm giving this one a wide berth, but as you say, finally, a uranium producer on the ASX.
Yeah, okay, so we've got a uranium producer, but this is not something that you would be buying now. You would hold it if you owned it already.
I think that's probably right. If you bought it, you bought it knowing that this is the journey you're on. And there's nothing, I mean, it's great news today. This is nothing but good news in today's announcement. Share price is higher. They got to production. So, you know, yeah, they're moving along the path they've been setting for themselves. I don't know how you value this thing, quite frankly. So, no, not for me. But if you own it, you probably own it prepared to take that risk or have that speculation. And if you have, then this is a nice, just a, you know, a nice box to check on the way through.
Yeah, and I should mention as well, just to everybody listening and watching out there, that today we're focused on stocks, a bit of a resurrection special, those stocks that have picked themselves up off the mat. So I do actually think that Paladin fits in with the overall theme as well. All right, Mark Moreland, Team Invest, let's get a view on Paladin from you. So you've got to be a believer that, that uranium will be a tool in nuclear energy on this path to net zero, and that the Australians...
Well, I'm definitely a believer of that.
Yeah.
I think all the talk of saying that we can have base load with wind and solar is total garbage. So uranium and nuclear power, I think, are fundamental if we're serious about it. The whole world seems to have come to that realisation now, except for Australia. So we're sort of we're the odd one out now, out of all our partners, on accepting that nuclear is a major part of the solution. I completely concur with what Scott said. The problem, though, is whilst that's still true, and I believe there will be significant increased demand for uranium over the next decades and going forward for sure, it's impossible to have any idea how you would quantify what will be profitable and who will make money. Because the thing with nuclear is you actually don't need a lot. so there's not like iron, where we've got billions of tons and it's very predictable. This is, to run a reactor, particularly these new small modular ones that we're going to have, use very little. So how much can a mine produce? There's a lot of mines out there that are trying to come on stream all over the world. So you could very quickly get to a stage before the capacity or the demand was there, where there was oversupply, and then the price tanks, and a lot of them go broke. It's a real commodity cycle, but uranium, more than any other commodity, I think, is pretty well impossible to predict, because we don't know how many reactors there'll be, we don't know how many suppliers are going to come into the market, and so on. So it's just to say you could invest in this, it's already a $4 billion company, Paladin. So that's actually going to generate quite a lot of profit to justify that kind of market cap. Now, they may well do it, and I agree with Scott, it's great that they actually have started producing, that's terrific, but there's no way from a Team Invest point of view you could put any metrics on that to say it's worth what it's worth or it's not worth what it's worth.
Okay, so you would be
Pass.
avoiding this one?
Yeah.
Pass, yeah. Okay, there you go. So that's Paladin Energy into production as of today.